Okay, so I want to make a video about Utica, New York and how it was attacked by, I don't know, aliens, terrorists, somebody attacked Utica, New York. And this is absolute proof. Some crazy guy who was in the psych ward at the old Utica, Maine psych ward, he was named William Spires, and when he got out of the psych ward, he was upset at them because of what they did to him. So he set the place on fire. Now let's go look at the place, okay? Just so you guys can see what type of place he set on fire. All right. I also have some photos on my Facebook I'm gonna have to show you as well of the building before it was blown up, so that way we can see what it's made of. Now look at this building. What do you think materials that's made of? Does that look like it's made of cardboard? Any experts out there think that this is made of cardboard? How about wood? Do you think this is made of wood? No, not cardboard, not wood. Is it plastic? And plastic burns. Plastic catches on fire. Is this plastic? No, this is a Roman structure that was built thousands of years ago. And they're hiding the truth, they're hiding the date. This was not a Utica psych ward. They took it over as a Utica psych ward. They locked people up in here, I bet. I mean, I don't know for sure. I don't know for sure. Maybe a concrete brick building with steel beams could burn down. Maybe the guy threw a Molotov in the building through one of the windows. You know, those windows that are shatterproof and they have guards on them so that way people can't break out of the psych ward. Maybe he threw a Molotov through the window, right? Just think about it. Just think about it. Maybe he threw a Molotov through the window and it hit a brick wall and that brick wall exploded. I mean, isn't that believable? Because certainly the building burnt down. They wouldn't lie to us. How could they even lie to us about something like this? Clearly, it must have burnt down. And you know what? It could have been God. God could have helped William Spires. God knew what he was thinking, and God was like, you know what? You're right. These people need to burn. And God helped them. God did this damage. That's pretty believable, huh? That's what they want us to believe. That's what they want us to believe, I think. Okay, so here's the building in its whole. Notice how the building is made of the same material from the back to the front. It's the same exact material. Now, I'm no scientist expert. I'm no supercomputer who can predict the future. I'm no AI who can gather all the information real fast and piece it together. I am a normal human. However, as a normal human, I believe it's kind of hard to set a rock on fire. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe I just haven't used the right flame. Maybe you need a magic flame. How do you get a magic flame? I don't know. You need a vampire or something? I don't fucking know. But one thing's for sure, you're not going to burn down this building. It says on Google, when you search it up, this building was burnt down. They can't hide that. They would have never demolished this building in a million fucking years. This was not demolition, it was burnt. Now let me prove that. Let me go to Google real quick. I'm getting hacked. I apologize. 1 second. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so now they're covering it up. They're trying to cover their tracks and hide it, but I'm going to find it. It's out there. They're not going to admit what happened here unless you really, really search it up really, really good. And that's because it's shadow banned. This is a... The military's going to say that it's still an active investigation, and they're trying to figure out who did it. Oh, there I go, getting hacked again, probably by the military. Oh, I can't even pause the video. Oh, there. Okay, so here's the Wikipedia page, right at the top of the search results. When you search up Old Maine, Utica psych ward burned down. It's actually pronounced Utica, not Utica.
they're lying to us. The Italians built this country, built this building. The Romans founded America. The Native Americans have some Italian in them. It's so obvious to see it. Italians spread far and wide. So no matter how they got here, if they got here after, before, the same time, it doesn't matter when the natives got here. They're part us too, and they need to recognize that and stop being terrorist little Nazi Welsh freaks. We are Italians. We are Romans, and right here at the top of the page, it'll tell you about the fire here at the psych ward. Now, obviously, it was shadow banned, so that means you have to search in something specific. You have to say, Fire Old Utica Main Hospital. Otherwise, you're not going to find it because they don't want you to think about it, because the more we think about it, the more we realize a brick building with concrete on the outside cannot burn down. It's impossible. Anyways, let's read this anyways, this bullshit, this absolute bullshit. They're clearly lying to us about so much. Pretty soon they're going to change the narratives and say, oh no, it was a demolition. We made a mistake. They'll actually admit that they were wrong for once. For once, they'll finally admit they were wrong. These dumb scum pieces of shit. Lifeless fucking pieces of garbage. They're very much just like robots. Just like a robot alien invasion. When they come here and they kill all the Italians and replace them. Anyways, let's read. It says, the Utica Psychiatric Center, also known as Utica State Hospital, opened in Utica on January 16, 1843. It was New York's first state-run facility designed to care for the mentally ill, and one of the first institutions in the United States. It was originally called the New York State Lunatic Asylum at Utica. Let me reread that one part, actually. One of the first institutions in the United States. This was the capital of America. Utica. Utica. Italian Roman capital of America. Right here. This was the most massive building the Romans could ever build, right here. Now, nowadays it looks small. You drive by, you're like, oh, that's nothing. We could build way bigger than that. But when you look at it from the past, thousands of years ago, man, this building looks fucking tremendously huge. This building right here, this is a New York City-sized building in their mind. In their mind. In our mind, this is like a little country home out on the hill. But in their mind, back in the day, the people back in the day that used to live back in the day, they would say this is like a skyscraper. This is absolutely this is the biggest thing ever that Utica has ever seen. Let me keep reading. One of the first institutions in the United States. It was originally called the New York State Asylum at Utica. The Greek revival structure, Greek, Roman, was designed by Captain William Clark, and its construction was founded by the state and by contributions from Utica residents. In 1977, the last patients were transferred to other care facilities and the hospital was closed. The hospital building is now used as a records archive for the New York State Office of Mental Health. So they have all of our records there. All the times they poisoned Americans and they locked us all up into camps. They got all of our records. These are Nazi scumbag invader terrorists trying to kill us all. Anyways, it goes on to say, it has been a National Historic Landmark since 1989. The building sits on the present-day campus of the Mohawk Valley Psychiatric Center, along with newer buildings, some of which are still in use for psychiatric and other medical care. The legislature authorized its establishment in 1836. The original plans for the hospital included 4 identical buildings set at right angles to one another with a central courtyard. Due to a lack of funds, because these scumbags attacked us and caused the Great Depression, construction was halted after the first building was completed. This building, Old Main, stands over 50 feet high. That is incredibly tall for back in the day. The 6 Greek-style columns that decorate the front of old main stand at 48 feet tall, and each has an 8-foot diameter. The hospital filled quickly because they started rounding us up into it like it was a concentration camp. That was actually a Capitol building, a Roman Capitol building, and they locked us all up into it, my whole family. The hospital filled quickly, and more beds were needed, so the building was enlarged by the addition of wings on either end. These wings opened in 1846, and in 1850, the accommodations were listed as 380 single rooms for patients, 24 for their attendants, 20 dormitories, each accommodating from 5 to 12 persons, 16 parlors or day rooms, 12 dining rooms, 24 bathing rooms, 24 closets, and 24 water closets. The hospital's first director, Amaria Brigham, a German Welsh girl. Hold on, let me take a sip of water. She thought that mental illness was the result of a bad environment. So, when terrorists come and destroy your environment and poison you all with gas and burn down places in Canada, the whole forest, and they gas us all. So the facility provided patients with spacious rooms, good nutrition, as well as physical exercise and mental stimulus. They were forced to work. They were slaves. This lady is a complete liar, sociopathic psycho, pale-faced little sicko. She looks like a little freak, short, midget animal thing, like a chimpanzee. He believed in labor as the most essential of our curative means. Amira is a tranny, by the way. A tranny. So she's not even a real woman. She wasn't even a real woman. It was a he, she. That's what they all are, these liberals. They're trash. He believed in labor as the most essential of our curative means. Accordingly, patients were encouraged to participate in outdoor tasks such as gardening and handicrafts, such as needlework and carpentry. They were forced to do that. They were forced. Brigham also introduced an annual fair at the hospital to display and sell items created by the patients. So everything they made was sold off, and the patients didn't make any money for it at all. It was full-blown slavery, and they disguised it as something cute and safe for everyone. The first fair in 1844 raised $200, which went toward in addition to the library, musical instruments, and a greenhouse they had. Some of the asylum inmates also printed a newspaper called the Opal. Let me go back to the greenhouse. Back in the day, we had to have greenhouses in our homes because it was difficult for us to grow. We didn't have these machines to do everything for us. So food was a little bit more scarce. We didn't have the transportation that we do now. So, say if you wanted an orange tree, you would grow it in your greenhouse in the backyard. That's what the greenhouses were for. We also had subway tunnels, and they're using them right now to enslave us. There are slaves in the subway tunnels right now. They're high on hardcore drugs and poison. They're being forced to do things. They probably were kidnapped at some psych ward or right off the street. There's tons of people missing from our city. It's not just believable, it's a fact. This is what's going on. Anyways, let me keep reading. Some of the asylum inmates also printed a newspaper called the Opal. 10 volumes, 1851-1860, which contained articles, poems, and drawings produced by the patients. In 1852, Old Main's first floor stairway caught fire. It was completely concrete. All concrete, no wood at all. It caught fire. So believable, right? So believable. Because anything's possible. God hated these scumbags so much, God set the fucking place on fire. That's how much God hated these scumbag terrorist Nazis. It's so believable, actually. It's so believable. God can blow up anything whenever he wants. Anyways, let's keep reading. It says, patients and staff were safely evacuated, but a firefighter and doctor were killed while trying to salvage items from the building. The entire center portion of the building was destroyed. 4 days after the fire at Old Main, a barn on the asylum grounds caught fire. William Spires, a convicted arsonist who was allegedly one of the patients that got killed, I'm sorry, they won't tell you, he got killed in the explosion. He was a patient there, a former patient, and sporadic employee. He was also an employee there, allegedly. Somehow he was an employee, then became a patient, and then he got bombed in the building, and they're going to tell you it was a fire. He was arrested after admitting to setting both fires because he was angry with his supervisor. So while he was locked up as a patient, he was angry at his supervisor. He somehow broke free and started a fire. So believable, so believable. God is so powerful. God can fucking solve any problem in this world. God knew every big pharma worker is a scumbag and deserves to be eradicated. So God wiped them out. They're all going to hell. That's what they get for poisoning us with fluoride pills. Every single medicine they have in the psych ward is poison, and it makes people sick. Anyways, I'm going to keep on reading. A Secret Institution, 1890, a 19th century autobiographical narrative describes Clarissa Caldwell Lathrope's institutionalization at the asylum for voicing suspicions that someone was trying to poison her. This lady Clarissa was an Italian woman who was sent to the psych ward because she knew there was mixed poison in her, and she found out and started freaking out. Said, "You fucking poisoned me!" And they were poisoning her crack cocaine and her heroin, and that's when they locked her up in a loony bin for just knowing what happened. That's what these scumbag terrorists do on our own land. These evil, freak, pale-faced scum bastards. They call us all guineas. They're racist, they're Nazis, they want to kill all humans. I'm going to keep reading. In 1844, Brigham founded the first English-language journal devoted to the subject of mental illness, American Journal of Insanity. Brigham was the editor-in-chief, and the journal was printed in the Utica State Hospital printing shop. After Brigham's death, the journal became the property of the hospital, and in 1894, the American Medical Psychological Association bought the journal for $994.50. The journal was later renamed the American Psychiatric Journal. The Utica Crib, the most evil thing that any big pharma person has ever done to anybody else. Poisoning people is less evil than the Utica Crib. The Utica Crib, where they locked up every Italiano. Imprisoned us. They imprisoned us. Brigham disliked the then current practice of using chains to restrain patients. And they were using chains. These were straight up slaves with shackles. They had black people, Asians, but most of them were Romans. And he invented the Utica Crib as an alternative. The Utica Crib was an ordinary bed with a thick mattress on the bottom, slats on the sides, and a hinged top that could be locked from the outside. It was 18 inches deep, 8 feet long, and 3 feet wide. Doctors used the Utica Crib to control and calm patients who were out of control. Wait, let's go back up. It says 8 feet long. That means it wasn't even long enough for most Italians. Most Italians are 9 foot. This was torture. It says, while use of the Utica crib was widely criticized, some patients found it to have important therapeutic value. That's a lie. No patients found that. They all thought it was torture. Every single one of them were crying and screaming at the top of their lungs. One patient who had slept in the Utica crib for several days commented that he had rested better and found it useful for all crazy fellows as I, whose spirit is willing, but whose flesh is weak. That's not even something an Italian would say. That's something a Mick would say. An evil Mick robot. A damn Nazi, Scottish piece of garbage who's related to Hitler. They're all related to Hitler. All Scottish people are. In the Edinburgh Medical Journal, Edinburgh. In the Edinburgh Medical Journal, Dr. Lindsay and other physicians at the Murray Royal Institution at Perth recommended the Utica crib. Lindsay stated that the bed was practical and safe to patients. However, Dr. Hammond and Dr. Meiser, another German name, of the Utica State Hospital attacked the Utica crib. He didn't attack it. He's full of shit. You know who attacked it? The mafia attacked it. We showed up at the psych ward and we beat these fucking big pharma's asses. Every single one of them had their fucking head smashed into the wall. Meiser stated that the crib is at most barbarous and unscientific because there is already a tendency to determine the blood to the brain in excited forms of insanity, which is released by the horizontal position in the crib and struggles the patient. It's right there. They're explaining how the crib was too short and it was causing blood in the brain because people had their heads tilted the whole time for hours on end. Because they couldn't fit in the fucking thing because it was too short. It was designed for a pale-faced sicko, not one of us, real men and women, but a little sick freak robotic scum. It says Meiser also compared to the Utica crib to a coffin. Hammond stated that sometimes patients died from being in the Utica crib. Some of these deaths occurred when attendants thought the patients were out of control, when in fact they were having a heart attack, a stroke, or some other type of serious health problem. On January 18th, 1887, with the help of George Elder Blummer, all Utica cribs were removed from the Utica State Hospital. So right there they said people were having heart attack and stroke from the Utica crib. They were having heart attack and stroke. Because these evil, devil, demon, Nazi scum that invaded our land and destroyed all of the Roman Empire, lied about all of our history, beat up Native Americans, forced them to forget their language, then told them their language was some other language. Or you know what? No. All those languages, every Native American language is probably a Roman language, is probably a wartime language that their people used. That would mean Native Americans are soldiers. They were our soldiers. They're all Romans. They all look Roman. And that would explain that. They are our soldiers. They're our soldiers. And these scumbag micks are trying to get them to fight us. And convince them that we're the bad guy who did all the damages. But Cristoforo Colombo is literally a blue-eyed, blonde-haired, short, little pale-faced freak. Demon devil. Nazi bastard. And they don't want you to know Cristoforo Colombo was a Nazi. They'll freak out if you ask them that. Try to get it out of them. See how angry it gets them. They don't want you to know. They don't even want you to know how to pronounce the Utica crib. It's called Utica. Utica crib. They turned our state building into a psych ward. We built this building. Humans built this. Not robots. Humans built this building. And this was one of the most massive buildings that humanity has ever built. And they destroyed it on us and left a little piece of it for us to always remember and suffer because of it. Now I'm going to show you another building that got blown up. Okay, so here is the Utica Riverside Mall. And it's clearly an explosion. There was an explosion that happened here. The car exploded. There was 2 dead Welsh people in the trunk. I doubt they were Welsh. They say it was Welsh people. I bet they were Italians in this trunk of this car. I bet they were Italians. They blew up the mall, killed 2 Italians in a trunk. And they don't even look sad or anything. They're just like, oh, whatever. Okay, last place I want to talk about is the airport. Now, there's depictions, even real photos of the other Oriskany Airport building that was here before this one. It was still a small building. It was still small, but it didn't look anything like this at all. This is a brand new building right here. And right here used to be a parking garage, I think. And it's gone. I don't know for sure if that was a parking garage or not. I'm just guessing. Because you could tell because it has this walking space right here going this way. And also there was a trolley that went through here. This was a trolley line. And also there is a subway tunnel station under here. This is the stop. There's a station right here. Because obviously once you have an airport, you need a subway station to get to it. And they're covering this up big time. Big time. Now let me go look for some more stuff. Okay, so this area also got exploded, and I want to show you it now. So this area right here, I believe, actually had a nuke drop on it. And that's why, I'm sorry, not that area. Right here. Actually, I think they dropped it like right here. Maybe. Or, wait. I think it was probably a few nukes, maybe. I don't know. Let's not focus over here. Let's not focus about this over here. Let's focus right here. Now, in the photo you saw, there was no water here. Now there's water here. You can say that's erosion all you want, but the surrounding area is completely toasted. And when I say toasted, I mean the trees are only like, what, 30, 40, 50 years old. And underneath it is all rubble from the... I don't know what happened. They won't tell us. And right here is where that big giant gas tank cylinder was. So let's look at it. Right here it is. That's it. So let me show you. Right here is where that circle was. So for perspective, let's remove this. Do you see any water here? Oops. Sorry, do you see any water here? No, you don't. Let me show you something. This right here, that's a shadow coming from this right here. That ain't water. Actually, no, that ain't even a shadow. That's just grass. Either way, this is a good theory. They dropped a nuke right there on that building. Why that building? Well, look at that building, how big it is. Look at how much oil they could fit in there. Let's compare this car, okay? Imagine how big a car is, right? Now, let's move that car further away and see how small it'd be. It'd be like the size of, you know, for a better example, right here is a house. And look how small it looks compared to this. Now, that's a lot of oil, and if you blow that up, what do you think happens? A fun explosion. A fun explosion happens. If you blow that up with a small Davy Crockett nuke, that's what they would have used, the Davy Crockett. It's perfect size. It would have just blew up this little industrial area without killing any innocent people at all. Would have set some homes on fire in the distance. Everyone would have thought it was just a great fire. Another area they hit with the Davy Crockett would have been right here. Genesee Street. Right here. And somehow the Observer Dispatch building survived the explosion. It somehow survived it, thank God. I mean, this building is a miracle. It's a miracle that we even have a newspaper company at all. And what's this in front of the building? It almost looks like some type of subway station thing. Those are air vents. For what? There was a huge cave-in right here. I believe a subway station caved in right here because they're not fixing it up anymore. So when 1,000 trucks drive over it, it eventually caves in. They laugh. Tons of people die. They're terrorist Nazis. Actually, you know what? Whatever blew up this block probably was even smaller than a Davy Crockett. Because this building is really old. All these buildings would have been really fucked up. So unless we painted them and rebuilt them to look like their former selves, I doubt that. I think this is a brand new building. This federal building right here, the federal courthouse, brand new building. So actually, you know what? It looks like a nuke was dropped right here at the intersection of Genesee Street and Whitesboro Street. That's what it looks like. But let's go back to over here. Everything is gone over here. Everything. They still have some demolished buildings left, still standing. And I believe that's because this is still an active investigation. I could be wrong. Maybe the owners are just scumbags and they don't want to fix anything up. This could be a meth lab for all I know. But it seems like terrorists operate, if it is. So, at very least we can say the people who destroyed this block probably bought it afterwards. Who could they be? I don't know. Indians, Chinese, Russians, Muslims, Jews, aliens, robots, robot aliens, God. I mean, God could nuke us too. Why not? God is probably real, so God could just nuke anything he wants whenever he wants if he feels like it. What else? A hurricane, tornado. Now, there's no reports of those at all. There is a report of St. Agnes hurricane, but there's no actual proof at all that any damages happened in Utica whatsoever. When I look it up, it doesn't show anything at all. So unless it's shadow banned for some reason, like they hide everything else, they hide everything. They want us to be in the dark at all times about everything. They want us to be completely dumbed down retards. And I apologize to the specially abled people. They want us to be even slower, weaker, less capable. They want us to be just absolutely worthless. They want us to be that dumb. Dumber than a specially abled person. Specially abled people can be very intelligent. They want us to be dumber than that. They want us to be dumber than that. They want us to go... That's how they want us to walk around. And talk. Just like that. All of us. All of us. Imagine how scary and horrible that would be. Now, I'm just speculating, theorizing. I don't know who they are, the they people. Are they Nazis? That's another one I forgot. Nazis, British emperors. What? I don't know. Could it be a nightmare? Honestly, I've theorized that the Aboriginal Australians are right about their beliefs. Dreamtime theory could be real. And if that's true, this is actually a nightmare. This is just a part of the nightmare that... I mean, it could have been a nuke, too. I mean, nukes can be in nightmares. But, like, either way, it would be the nightmare. That would be the main thing you'd call it. Just a nightmare. This was a nightmare that manifested itself in Utica. This is what our whole city could have looked like. But luckily, the nightmare didn't get that bad. Like most nightmares, they never get that bad. You always wake up and you're okay. No matter what. There could be an end, but for now, we're okay. So, You know what? I like the idea of aliens. My mother's friend was a crackhead drunk, and she believed that aliens were watching us like a movie. And she said, I think she believed that because she probably noticed all the gang stalkers following me and my family around. And she probably noticed, well, these people are getting in their way, perfect timing. And it probably was happening to her, too. She might have even known some other stuff that she can't tell us, that she can't even think about. Because they might kill her family. Who knows? I mean, it's believable. It's believable to me that we're on some alien TV show. These scumbags, whatever they are watching us. These worthless, lifeless pieces of fucking shit won't leave us alone and just let us live on a normal planet. And instead they torture us. They hack your dating app. They will poison us. They will lock us up in a loony bin. They will so many things, so many different things, and they do it like it's strategic to them. Like they have predicted that this is going to happen, and that's what they made happen. They knew if we do this, then this will happen. They knew that. So they knew if you beat a kid, threaten to kill him his whole childhood, he's going to grow up to be a psycho, and then we could lock him up in a psych ward. They'll do stuff like that. They'll torture a kid's life. They'll torture him. They'll destroy a kid's life, I mean. That's what I meant to say. They'll destroy a kid's life and torture him. You know, it looks like a small bomb went off here, too. Tick, 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 tock. Oh yeah, let me show you over here. There used to be a giant, massive, mega facility here on the Erie Canal, Mohawk River. And they say it was a, they're going to say this was a landfill, but it wasn't. It was never a landfill. They're liars. They just cut down a bunch of trees over here. I don't live over here. I don't live in the city anymore, but my mother told me last time she visited here that all these trees are gone. I looked up. There's a video of from the news that they said, we cut down the trees from the landfill. They're full of shit. This wasn't a landfill. This was something, though. There was buildings here. And they're covering it up big time. I mean, there was buildings all the way over here. This was a coal shack, a coal facility, a coal burning plant right here. It probably powered a few buildings around it. A few buildings. One right here, maybe. One right here. Another right here. 3 of them. Right here you can clearly see there's definitely buildings here. There was definitely big mega buildings here. It's so obvious to see it. Big mega buildings. Big giant buildings here. That they destroyed. This was a bigger downtown area. Utica used to have a giant downtown area. It was like Syracuse. Utica, New York used to be just like a Syracuse, New York. For those of you who are familiar with the Syracuse, New York, they have really tall towers. It's an actual city. Unlike what Utica's turned into. And we used to have a bigger population than them. Or, well, what we know that, or what we think they have. because they also still have illegal aliens. They have people who don't use the census, so we can't count them all. But we could guess it's over 100,000, easy. And they're all mainly Muslims. Mainly Muslims live there. Now, what else can I say about this city? I don't know if there was ever anything out here, but this would have been good land for something. They just built this. This is all new. They're building something here now. The Marcy Nano Centers. We'll see if that ever gets built in a million years. All the Adirondacks was burnt down. Let me pause the video and try to think if I could think of anything else. So I thought of something else. So in Biloxi, right over here at Keesler Air Force Base, this was something else at one time. This is a huge area, by the way. Huge. This would have been bigger than a Davy Crockett. This would have been way bigger than a Davy Crockett. This is a very big Air Force base. A very big one. They have planes that can hover. They use they use nuclear radiation for power. They have anti-gravity. They have other alien technology. They're robots from another planet. And it don't matter if they're in charge of this country or not. If they want us dead, they could just kill us anytime. They'll blow up my house, they'll burn me up. Everyone will know then. Everyone would know then. They'll say that crazy guy was talking about a Utica getting attacked. Or Utica. Utica getting attacked. They'll say that crazy guy was not crazy. And then they'll have to just blow up the whole city. Now this is from hurricanes, but just notice how many buildings are gone. It's very sad that we can't rebuild back better. We can't. It's very sad. Our city is dying, and we're like a little Vegas. We're turning into a little Vegas. We're building 2 brand new casinos here. 2 brand new casinos are getting built here. It's gonna be just like a Vegas. This is gonna be our strip right on the beach. You got ocean water, beachfront, casinos, place for kids, theme parks. This is what's gonna suck in the Muslims. And then they're gonna bomb it again. Watch, someday this will be a desert. It won't be in our lifetime because I just predicted it. They won't be able to do it now. But one day this would be a desert just like Vegas. It won't make any sense because it's right on the fucking ocean. And other parts of the continent will be fine and untouched. It'll remind you of Vegas. They set off nukes over here. Right here. These were all Davy Crockett test fires. All of them. And all the radiation caused this desert. The British claim that when they killed the Native Americans, they started fires, but it was nothing like this. Let's be honest, trees do not burn like that. I've tried to start fires out in the woods, just for fun, on my own land. Small ones. And it don't happen. It don't happen, okay? These trees are full of water. They will shoot water out on you like a fire hydrant. That's how full of water some trees are. Even if they spray the trees with chemicals and kill the trees, it would have to be such a massive amount of chemicals. It just is impossible. Well, maybe not impossible, but it'd be very difficult. Very, very difficult. The British didn't spray all the trees and then set them on fire. The British dropped nukes in Nevada. That's what caused the desert over here. And that's what exterminated the parrot. Something with the parrot's DNA wasn't strong enough to survive any radiation at all. It couldn't survive. I have a nuclear... I still do. I'm sounding on Facebook. I have a nuclear radiation meter, and it tells you there's about 20, 30, whatever count it is. I forget what they call it. And 30's safe. It's a safe limit, but it's still a limit. There's still radiation all around us. There is radiation all around us. Nuclear radiation. Not radiation from your phone, but nuclear radiation all around us. I know because I have a meter and I tested it. When I was up here in Utica and I tested it down here too, it's the same. It's the same. It's about the same. I haven't tested it out here in the desert. I could only imagine how much higher it is. All we could do is go to a place like... This is what they don't want us to do, by the way. These are lifeless, evil machines that want to destroy humanity. All we gotta do is dig up all these testing sites, dig them up, and put them into a deep hole somewhere. Like maybe right here. A big, giant deep hole. And then cover that hole with zeolite. The nuclear radiation would be gone. Now, if you look up Great Fire, any city in America, every city was burnt down. So that goes to show, when they killed the Native Americans, they were killing Romans, and I think that's possible, I don't know for sure, and they took over every single city. Every single city used to have a Little Italy in it, and the Little Italies were like Native American reservations. We didn't have to pay taxes there, and that's why they were so jealous of us and hated us so much. And the Native Americans now, today's day and age, they're real Roman. They're real Native American, but they don't know their history. They don't know what happened here. First, the government flooded their town. Then they nuked their town. And this wasn't a town. This was a city. It had taller buildings. It has a subway tunnel. There's still tunnels left here. It had... Tons of stuff. This was a giant city. This was the biggest railroad town, the biggest railroad city in all of New York State. So it definitely has underground tunnels. Definitely. And I don't want to say what's going on down in these tunnels, but just know there's tunnels down there. And there's a lot of Welsh people in this town. But the majority of them are Native American. This is the only city in all of New York that is majority Native American. Even Utica is a dying population. All the Italians here are dying. It's pretty soon there's going to be none of us left. This is it right here. This is it. Salmoneca is going to be the last Mohicans. They're going to be the last Mohicans. They're still killing us, the British. They're still killing us. And this is going to be the last Mohicans right here. I want to go to show you the date of when Utica was first built. This is the oldest building in Utica, New York. And right here it says the Arresto family built it in 1111 AD. And they were White Templar of Knights. They were Templar of Knights. White Knights. They were White Knights. Roman White Knights. And that's why we let those people into our city, because we thought they're white like us. But they were whiter. They had paleness. We didn't have paleness. We were just plain whites. They were pale. Matter of fact, some of us were dark white. Some of us weren't even white at all. And that's why they were so racist against us. We had some Kanyes in our clan. We had some Kanyes. We did. We weren't racist. We let them all in. We're not racist. We just love whites so much. We're obsessed with the sexiness and the intelligence and the power. And some blacks agreed. They're obsessed with that too. And they wanted their kids to be white. So they join us. And the people at the top of the pyramid, the Zionist elitists, they were jealous of what we had. We had something special here. And remind you, back in the day during the Roman Empire's 1111 AD, this was a massive building. This was literally like a skyscraper compared to that. For them back then, this was like a skyscraper. And Utica probably came before New York. And at one time, the river actually came all the way up here. I'm thinking. No, I'm sorry, they probably used blimps to get here. This is where they landed with blimps. Yeah, that's how the Romans got here, with blimps. It was blimps with boats. Blimps with boats. So that way, if they were to fall in the water, they would be able to float still. Because some blimps, for some reason, they run out. They weren't sure how far it was going to be, and they weren't, they were scared, so they had to have ships with blimps on top of them. Let me show you actually a photo depiction. Okay, so this is an ancient depiction from Romans of what Troy, New York was supposed to look like in the future. They predicted 200 years a city. They were way off. Way off. Troy, New York ended up getting nuked. If you look up Great Fire, Troy, New York, tons of brick buildings were blown up. And some of them literally straight up flattened down to nothing, completely demolished. And but anyways, this is the depiction of what the Roman blimp would look like. This is what we used to get across the ocean right here. This is what the Native Americans used to get to America. This is what they actually used. There was no land bridge. That's a crazy theory. And there was absolutely no canoeing. You cannot canoe across the ocean. They claim that, matter of fact, I'll search it up right now. How did Native Americans get to Hawaii? Okay, here it is. So let me take a screenshot of this before they change it again, because they realized they're lifeless robots who clearly made a mistake. No human could ever believe this in a million years. Back in the day, it was believable. Back in the day, because sometimes the ocean seems really, really flat. So, in a human's perspective, it's like that all the way. But they don't go all the way in the middle of the ocean to see. No pun intended. To see the sea. And how wavy and choppy it gets. It gets really wavy out there. There's no way you could have canoed that. There's no way. Absolutely no way in hell. I would never believe that. Even if the fucking ocean was completely flat and we're living on a flat earth, which we're not, no way in hell would I believe that you fucking canoed. It just seems impossible to me. I'm 99% sure. There's that 1% that I'm like, maybe, I don't know. The ocean does seem flat sometimes. Maybe these were really giant canoes, and maybe they even had inflatable devices in the canoe to keep it above the water every time a wave would hit them, and maybe they had really good fishing techniques, even though they didn't have any poles, they didn't have any fishing line. What would they use? Rope? In a giant ocean? They would have starved to death. There's no way in how they could have gotten there without flying. And even flying would have been absolute hell. They would have had to grow food on this ship. And they would have been terrified for their lives. And I mean, you could go on. You could just go on and on and on and on about this narrative. It seems pretty believable. That Utica, New York was attacked by Nazis or robots or commies or something. It seems like it was Nazis because all the Scottish freaks have our land, but they were Romans too at one time. So we don't know for sure because the British were Romans. So we don't really know for sure. None of us do. Maybe the Queen of England might know, but even her, she might not know either. It was such a long time ago. She would have to go into old books and have people read them for her. And even then, they might not find anything, or if they do, they might not even tell her because she's a psychotic freak. They might not want to tell her. That, oh yeah, your people are lizards from an outer space, and you eat people, you drink blood, adrenochrome. I don't think they'd want to tell a queen that so she could remember everything. And start saying, this is my city. London is my city. No, it's not. It's the Prime Minister's city. Now calm down. Calm down, Karen. Go back to sleep. But for all I know, she's the good one. The queen is a Roman thing. Because why wouldn't the Romans have kings and queens? Think about it like this. I'm going to conquer your land. You're going to want to kill me and all my people. But now I'm going to establish a leader that you like. And they're going to have total control and power over their land. But with one boss above them. The emperor of the entire empire. But there can be kings and queens under the emperor. There could be. And that could be how the Roman Empire had it all set up. It's actually a perfect design. It's actually very genius. Every country would have had its own king and queen. And the emperor would have controlled it all. That's how I think everyone imagines what like a new world order would be like. And every group wants its own new world order, it seems like. The Chinese, the Russians, America, they all want their own new world order. Novus Ordo Seclorum. That's Latin. Utica, that's Italian. Based off of Latin. Anyways, what else am I getting at here? I'm just talking straight up. I should just end it because now I'm just talking random facts now. So I thank you for watching this all. If you're a Utica, New Yorker, I hope I gave you enough details to wake you up. I'm sure there's tons of other stuff I'm missing, and I'm sure some smart people out there could do a better job. But I honestly think I did my best. I think I did such a great job. I think that if I'm right about all of this, I should be rewarded. I should be trophied. I should be maybe the emperor. I'm in on that.